You think you know what freedom is until the heavy steel door slams shut for the last time. It is not just the loss of time, it is the death of your existence while your heart is still beating. Welcome to the brutal reality of a life sentence. Most people imagine prison like the movies, a yard, a weight room, maybe a library. The truth is far more monotonous and agonizing. A life sentence is not a single event. It is 10,000 identical days stretched out into a horizon that never ends. Let's look at the numbers. In the United States, there are currently over 200,000 people serving life sentences or virtual life sentences. That is more than the entire population of Salt Lake City, Utah, trapped behind walls, legally discarded by society. The day begins before the sun rises. At 5:30 a.m., the lights flicker on. There is no snooze button. There is no choice. You wake up in a space usually measuring 6 by 8 feet. That is 48 square feet. You have lived in this space for 5, 10, or maybe 30 years. You know every scratch on the paint. You know every crack in the concrete floor. Breakfast is served at 6 a.m. It is rarely nutritious. It is high in starch, high in sodium, and designed to keep you fed, not healthy. Then comes the count. Every prisoner must be accounted for, 5 times a day. If you are 1 minute late or if the guard cannot see your face, the entire facility goes into lockdown. A life sentence is a series of controlled movements. You walk in lines, you eat in silence, you spend hours sitting on a plastic chair in a day room, staring at a wall or a communal television that plays what the guards choose. The television is the only link to the outside world, but it is a distorted one. It shows a reality that you no longer belong to. Consider the case of Joe Ligon. He was sentenced to life without parole in 1953. He was just 15 years old. He spent 68 years behind bars. He was released in 2021 at the age of 83. By the time he walked out, his parents were long dead. His friends were gone. The world he once knew had been replaced by smartphones, the internet, and a pace of life that felt like a foreign language. He was not just released, he was effectively dropped onto a different planet. The psychological toll is the most brutal aspect. When you receive a life sentence, you are forced to undergo a process called social death. You are erased from the census of the living. You stop being a person with a future and become a number with a file. The medical care is often abysmal. In many states, the cost of healthcare for aging inmates is astronomical, so there is an incentive to provide the bare minimum. You wait months for a dental cleaning. You wait years for specialists. If you get sick, you deal with it in your cell, on your own, with a thin blanket and a plastic cup of water. Then there is the sensory deprivation, the constant hum of industrial ventilation, the smell of bleach, sweat, and cheap floor wax, the lack of natural light, the silence that is constantly punctured by the screams or arguments of other inmates. It breaks you down until you stop remembering what a forest smells like, or what it feels like to have a breeze hit your face without a fence in the way. Some prisoners turn to education. They read books until their eyes ache. They learn languages. They study law, hoping for a sliver of a chance at an appeal. But hope is a dangerous thing in prison. Hope is what gets you through the first year, but it is also what breaks your heart in the 10th, because for most lifers, the appeal never comes. The law does not change. The judge who sentenced you is dead. The witness who testified is long gone. Violence is the shadow that follows you everywhere. Even if you are a model prisoner, you are trapped in a high-density environment with people who have nothing to lose. A fight in the chow hall isn't just a fight, it's a terrifying disruption of the only routine you have. You learn to keep your head down. You learn to be invisible. You become a master of avoiding conflict because one slip-up can add years to your time or land you in solitary confinement. Solitary is the deep, dark end of the tunnel. It is 23 hours a day in a concrete box, no human contact, no meaningful stimulation. Studies have shown that even a few days in solitary can cause permanent neurological damage. Imagine that for months or years. It turns the brain against itself. The financial burden on the family is another story. If you have children, they grow up without you. They visit you through glass. They learn to love you through letters and 15-minute phone calls that cost exorbitant rates. You watch your children become adults from behind a barrier. You watch your parents age in photographs. You are a ghost to them, a voice on the end of a line, a name on a birthday card. Many people argue that life without parole is justice. They say it is the only way to ensure the safety of the public. But we have to ask ourselves, at what point does punishment stop being justice and start being cruelty? When a man is 60 or 70 or 80, is he still a threat? Does keeping him in a cage actually make anyone safer, or are we just paying billions of dollars to keep a frail human being in a box until their heart stops? We live in a system where the punishment rarely fits the evolution of the person. People change, they mature, they regret, they seek redemption, but the system is not built for redemption. It is built for stagnation. As the sun goes down, the routine repeats. Another count, another lockdown, another night lying in the dark, listening to the metallic echoes of the facility. You think about what you did or what you didn't do. You think about the life you lost. You think about the version of yourself that could have existed if you had taken a different turn on a different street on a different day. The brutal reality of a life sentence is not the physical pain. It is the realization that you are already dead to the world, and you are simply waiting for your body to catch up. We must consider if a society that focuses entirely on retribution has truly succeeded, or if we have merely created a different kind of darkness that reflects our own lack of imagination. If we lock away thousands of people and simply throw away the key, we aren't just sentencing them to death, we are admitting that we have given up on the possibility of change.